A quiet evening in a small, dimly lit apartment. Clara is checking her budget on her phone, struggling with unpaid utilities. Suddenly, a sharp notification sound breaks the silence. A transfer of $5,000 has just landed in her Venmo account from an unknown sender named Arthur Pendleton. The memo line reads simply, "For the emergency operation." Clara stares at the screen in disbelief. She tries to find a contact number, but the profile is completely anonymous. The money sits there, a glowing temptation in the middle of her financial crisis. The air in the room suddenly feels incredibly suffocating. The next morning, before Clara can process the situation, her phone vibrates violently with an incoming direct message. It is from the anonymous sender. The message is desperate, filled with typos and panic. "Please, please, send it back!" I typed the wrong username. "My daughter is in the emergency room right now, and the hospital needs the deposit immediately. Every second counts. Please don't steal my child's life." Clara's heart races as she reads the frantic words. She is caught between her own desperate need for money and the moral weight of a child's survival. She realizes that she is facing an irreversible financial choice tonight. Clara is a single mother drowned in debt. Every single dollar in her bank account is already assigned to a past due bill. She looks at the stacks of final notices piled on her kitchen counter. Her life is an endless cycle of financial survival. $5,000 could support her family for months, could solve her immediate problems. But she knows the strict rules of the digital world, she whispers to herself, refusing to let greed control her actions. She decides to play it completely safe. She will freeze the money and wait for Venmo support to handle the situation according to their official policy. She locks her phone, choosing protection over instant relief. But she has no idea that this legal choice is the exact trigger for her ultimate nightmare. The next morning, Clara is woken up by an aggressive pounding on her door. Two police detectives stand outside with an official warrant. They inform her that her Venmo account has been flagged as the primary destination for a massive phishing scam. The $5,000 was stolen from a senior citizen's retirement fund just minutes before it arrived in her app, because Clara did not instantly return the funds or report it to the bank, and she is now the prime suspect in a federal cyber fraud investigation. The trap has closed around her, engineered as a perfect ghost-like trap. Within hours, the bank freezes not just the stolen money, but Clara's entire personal savings. Her credit cards are declined at the grocery store, and her digital wallet is completely locked. She receives an automated email stating that her identity is linked to multiple fraudulent profiles across the dark web. The scammers didn't just send her money, they used her account transaction to mask their entire operations trail. Standing in her apartment, looking at her useless phone, she realizes her legal existence has been wiped out, leaving nothing but cold, digital dust. Desperate to clear her name, Clara starts investigating the name Arthur Pendleton. But as she searches online, she notices strange things happening around her apartment. A dark SUV is parked down the street with its engine running for hours. When she looks out the window, her phone screen glitches, showing a single line of code: "Stop digging." The scammers aren't just invisible hackers anymore. They are physically present, closely watching her exact coordinates. Clara sneaks out through the back exit to meet a tech-savvy friend who can trace the digital footprint of the message. They track the source IP address not to a foreign country, but to an abandoned building just 3 blocks away from her home. Even more terrifying, they find that her name was placed on a specific hit list of targets who were selected purely for their vulnerable financial situation. This was never a random mistake. It was a deeply planned, decades-old conspiracy. Clara decides to visit the location herself, driven by anger and survival instincts. The building is an old warehouse, cold and smelling of rust. Inside, she finds a makeshift desk with multiple computer screens monitoring her bank activity in real time. On the floor lies an old voice recorder. She presses play, and a familiar voice chills her to the bone. It is the voice of her landlord, detailing how they set her up to cover their own massive debts. The room fills with haunting voices from the grave. She runs back to her apartment, realizing she is no longer safe anywhere. As she locks her front door, her smart home speakers suddenly turn on by themselves. A distorted, synthetic voice echoes through the dark living room. "You shouldn't have gone to the warehouse, Clara. Now the bank isn't the only thing that'll be frozen." She hears a soft floorboard creak in her kitchen. She turns slowly, realizing someone was right behind him. A shadow moves across the kitchen wall. Clara lunges for the window to escape onto the fire exit, but it has been nailed shut from the outside. Her phone screen lights up one last time with a countdown timer. 30 seconds left. The air grows cold as she hears heavy footsteps approaching the bedroom door. She realizes she has run out of time and space. Behind her, the heavy lock clicked shut. Clara manages to break the glass of a small bathroom window and squeezes through just as the bedroom door breaks open. She drops into the dark alleyway below, her hands bleeding. The ground is wet from the endless storm as she stumbles toward the main street. She looks down and notices something terrifying next to her own path. A set of large, bloody, and fresh footprints. She hides behind a large trash container, holding her breath. A figure walks past her hiding spot, holding a heavy iron bar. The street lamp illuminates his face for a split second. It is not a stranger. It is the detective who investigated her case that morning. He isn't trying to solve a cyber scam. He is enforcing it. He stops, looks directly toward her hiding spot with a gaze of pure malice. Clara runs blindly into a local diner, seeking safety in public view. She opens her email on a public computer terminal and pulls up the original court order the detectives showed her. Looking closely at the digital signature at the bottom, she runs a quick identity search. The judge who allegedly signed her arrest warrant died 3 years ago. The entire police investigation is a complete fabrication, operating under the signature of a dead man. Suddenly, the diner phone rings next to her terminal. The old clerk answers, looks around, and points at Clara. "It's for you." Trembling, Clara takes the receiver. A calm, sophisticated voice speaks from the other end. "You are very resourceful, Clara, but look out the window." Across the street, standing next to the corrupt detective, is her own ex-husband, smiling coldly into a phone. The voice whispers, "The $5,000 was never a mistake. You were the mastermind. You won custody of our daughter because of your clean record." Her ex-husband's voice speaks through the diner receiver. "But a federal cyber criminal can't keep a child. By tomorrow morning, you'll be behind bars. And she will be mine. There is no escape now out of this hell." Real police sirens begin to wail in the distance, called by the corrupt detective to finish the frame-up. Clara looks at the public computer terminal. The countdown on her hacked accounts has reached its final phase. If she doesn't upload the proof of the dead judge's signature to the federal network right now, her identity will be permanently ruined, with every single second ticking away. She begins typing the command code furiously, her bleeding fingers staining the keyboard. Outside, the corrupt detective kicks open the glass door of the diner, his weapon drawn. Clara presses the upload button just as a heavy hand grabs her shoulder, dragging her straight into the abyss. As they throw her into the back of the unmarked vehicle, Clara looks at her ex-husband standing under the rain, holding her daughter's favorite teddy bear. He flashes a victory smile, believing his framing plan succeeded flawlessly. Clara leans back against the cold seat, tears mixing with blood on her face, feeling the weight of the ultimate, painful betrayal. Suddenly, the corrupt detective's dashboard radio crackles to life. An automated dispatch voice echoes through the vehicle. All units, be advised. Federal Cyber Division has just intercepted a massive fraud ring. Warrants issued for Detective Miller and accomplice Julian Vance. Secure suspects immediately. Julian's smile completely freezes under the flashing red and blue lights as the noose finally tightens. The rain slowly stops as federal vehicles surround the area, arresting the real criminals. Clara steps out of the car, breathing the cold morning air. Safe, but deeply scarred, she looks down at her phone, which has finally been unlocked and restored to normal. Her $5,000 is gone, but her daughter is safe. She realizes that in the modern digital world, sometimes a simple act of kindness carries a terrifying, deadly price.